Hey, welcome to Wolf's Watch. I'm Wolf, and as always, as a leader of the pack, I'm scouring the countryside on the watch for what works during high inflation, like we're experiencing right now. And this is tip number 12 in our series on how to grow your business during high inflation. Growing your business during high inflation takes a little bit of a shift. It's not massive if you know what the right things are to do, what's worked in the past. Today, we've got tip number 12. And here it is. I'm going to dive right in with this. It is create a pit crew. Think about that. Create a pit crew. In the 1950s, it took about 55 seconds to do the tire changes for NASCAR racing cars. Okay. Today, they do all four tires, adjust the suspension, and fuel the car in current record is ready for this 9.2 seconds. Imagine that. All four of your tires being changed on your car. I mean, think about that when you pull into a gas station. Instead of getting out, you got a team that comes out. Boom, they pop your car up on the jack. All four tires are off. New wheels, not just new tires, but new wheels go on. Someone's taking care of your windshield. They use tear strips, right? So just boom, just tear a strip off of the windshield so it's nice and clean. Gas gets put in the car. You don't have to get out, right? This is all being done for you. You don't have to get out and checking to see, well, maybe you need to just a little bit of an adjustment on that rear passenger side so the car sits right and rides right, and boom, off you go. 9.2 seconds. Think about that. 1001, 1002, 1003, 1004, 1005, 1006, 1007, 1008, 1009, and it's done. 4 new wheels, gas, windshield clean, boom, you're back off on the interstate. Pretty amazing. So what does that take? It takes a synchronized team. Everybody has clear roles. They drill the skills, right? They drill the skills so that they are good at what they do. They work on how to get better. 9.2 seconds was a record that was set in the most current racing season. Average was a little bit higher than that before the record. So it's 12, 15 seconds. Still, that's pretty impressive, right? It has a massive impact on who wins the race, too. A race can be won or lost based on how well the pit crew performs when a driver pulls in for pit. But again, it comes back to you having the right people on the team, drilling the skills. In inflationary times, when you're looking for ways to do cost control, training can be a very attractive way to cut budget, right? To cut cash going out. That's a different tip from a different day. However, this is a system that all ties together, right? So you need to look at what's going where. You need to understand what is the return on investment for training so that people have the right skills, so their skills are upgraded at the time you need it most. So that it's a synchronized team. Pit crews are synchronized. Everybody moves when they need to because, for one thing, safety. Think about that. Let's go back to this picture. Let's go back to this picture if I can display it again instead of removing it by accident. It's live, right? So look at what's happening in this picture. If you can see my cursor right here, everybody is synchronized. There are people waiting to catch the wheels. There are people watching. You have a person in red back here. That's a referee watching what's happening, make sure all the rules for safety are followed. There's lines that show the box where the car needs to be set. And this is because there's other cars going by in the pits. So a lot of safety hazards that can occur. When rapidly fueling, imagine using the high octane gas that race cars use. When you're rapidly fueling a car, the risk of fire should something go wrong in the fuel, the fueling process be interrupted, you spill fuel all over the place, that can go very wrong in a big hurry. I was with my dad riding at a gas station when I was maybe 5, 6 years old. A buddy of his was showing us the new car that he had just gotten this incredible acrylic paint job on. I don't know the gentleman's name. I remember it's just this amazing color of red. and he's showing us the car, and we hear somebody shout, and we look inside where behind a closed door in the service bay, there are 3 kids goofing around. One of them worked at the gas station pumping gas, and earlier he had spilled, and I saw this happen. He overflowed the gas tank on a car when he was gassing it up for a customer, spilled gas on his jeans. So we're looking inside and we see they're screwing around because my dad's friend said, "Oh, those idiots." And about that time, I realized what was happening is one of the other boys that didn't work there, who was visiting this guy, this kid that had spilled gasoline on his jeans, was playing around with a lighter, pretending like he was going to, he was taunting him like, "Oh, yeah, watch out." I'm going to get this NASCAR picture out of here because professionals would never do something this stupid, right? Right? You've probably seen professionals do something the equivalent of this stupid. So this kid is he's taunting his buddy like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, here," faking like he's going to light him with a cigarette lighter, and the kid's dancing around trying to stay away. So now they're starting to do this dance back and forth. And sure enough, whoosh, lights his friend on fire. And I remember watching that, the flames just leapt out. It was like something out of the movies. His whole leg, where it was covered in gasoline, just burst into flames. And he started running. And my dad and his friend both ran for the garage. My dad said, it was like, "Wait here," as he's starting to run towards the garage. And on the way in, the owner of the gas station grabbed a blanket that was sitting handy, probably for just such an occasion, or it was handy in the service bay. He was running in the door, and they both tackled the boy and got the blanket on and put the fire on. But imagine that, something that stupid could also happen though in a professional environment if somebody is doing the wrong thing. Safety is massive in a racing car environment. So when pit crews do their job, even though they're constantly looking at how to go better, how to go faster, safety is always inordinate. It's always like overriding. Can't do anything that's unsafe because it could get somebody hurt or worse. And if there's an accident, if it causes some form of an accident, it can cost the team the race, or the team could get penalized because there's referees watching, right? There's people watching. The team could get penalized for violating one of the safety rules that NASCAR has set for how things need to operate, where things need to be. Like, for example, not having the car in the painted box. Let me come back to the picture again, right? So one of the things that can happen for a team, see these lines right here. If you can see the cursor, these white lines with like a blue, looks like a blue out border. That's where the car has to be in sitting. It has to be inside those lines. Otherwise, it's a safety violation. Because the car, if it's sitting out here, if it's sitting in the roadway, another car that is coming in for a pit stop could hit someone else or hit a wall or lose control because they have to swerve out of the way. If it is too far back across this line or too far forward, now it's encroaching in another car's safety area and makes it impossible or certainly increases the risk that the driver will not be able to safely pull in to their designated pit stop space. So there's a lot that happens with that. Here's the question that I have for you. What are the equivalents in your business and with your team? Do you treat them like a team? Do you work on who is in which role? How do they relate to each other? How do they practice those communications? How do they improve the way that they work together and apply the skill that they have? How do they improve their individual skills so they can bring more value to the team? How do you reward them? What are the safety concerns or the equivalent of safety concerns? In many office environments, think, what's the worst that could happen? Somebody could tip and fall out of their office chair. Somebody could get tennis elbow from drinking too much coffee. Maybe, maybe not. But what are the boundaries that need to be set so the team knows how to operate, what their parameters are for how to perform better, how they need to synchronize, when they need to synchronize, and when it's okay to not worry about being in sync with other people on the team. So having that mindset is something to really, really take a look at. Do you have a pit crew mentality where everybody is, they're together on the same team? They understand how what they do affects the other people on the team, how it's interrelated, needs to be synced up, synchronized, and how they continually work on being better, both at their individual technical skills, whether it's writing marketing copy or code for software or running a CNC machine. If you work in manufacturing, you know what I'm talking about, right? Running major industrial equipment. How do they work on those skills? And how do they work on their skills of being better as a team and the way they interrelate? Food for thought. Tip number 12, build a pit crew. That's one of your keys to success during high inflation. This is one of the things that has worked well for companies in the past, companies that thrived, that did better than their competitors. This is one of the things that they focused on. I'm Wolf. Thanks for being part of Wolf's Watch. And you know what? Before I go, I want to leave this with you. If you want more tips, if you want to dig into the strategies, there's 5 key strategies for thriving, for being able to grow your business during high inflation. And we're going to be talking about that in a complimentary webinar next week. That's that would be May. This is the month of May 25th at noon Pacific time. For more information on that, you can go to the link here, growduringhighhinflation.com. That's growduringhighhinflation.com. And there'll be a link in the comments as you're watching this. You should be able to find a link you can click on and get some more information on that and register for it. Hope to see you there. Again, thanks for being part of Wolf's Watch. This is live and interactive 21st century television. I'm Wolf, and I look forward to seeing you on the trail.